Before we get started, just please understand that any advice in today's session is of a general nature only and that your personal circumstances have not been taken into consideration. Okay, all right. We'll get straight into it today. If anybody has brought any questions, as usual, please type them in. As I see them, I will answer them. Okay, so even if they're off topic, I'll try them fit them in where appropriate. All right, so here we go. Let's get started. All right, another month has begun. So July is over. We are now into August, and typically the first week of the month is the heaviest week based on data events. And as you can see from what I'm showing on my screen right now, this month is no shortage of data this particular week. So this is in fact a really, really huge week. It's a very, very volatile week. Um, Traditionally August as well. You've got to remember that these markets, and specifically the FX markets, is more dominated by Northern Hemisphere countries, mainly Europe and the US. Around about right now, a lot of them take holidays, and typically this particular month of August is one of where the liquidity is a little bit drier than normal. Look, for all intensive purposes, it's massively liquid market, but it is a lot less liquid to norm. So when we get a combination of a lot of data, low liquidity, we get volatile markets and we can get very, very large movements. Okay, for a lot of us, that's exactly what we like, and that's the attraction of trading. So if that's you this week, you're in for a treat. All right, so let me start off with key events, things that are happening, and things to take note. First of all, we start off with the Aussie. The first Tuesday of the month is when the Reserve Bank of Australia makes its interest rate decision. So that happens on Tuesday at 2:30. Also on the same day, we get trade balance and retail sales. So tomorrow, Tuesday, Aussie Dollar is the one that to look for. Now, we're not expecting any surprises, so we pretty much expect to get a 2% no change of interest rate tomorrow. Should that surprise, well, then the market will really, really move. I don't think so. I think tomorrow, ones that may impact the market more are possibly going to be the trade balance. All right, specifically with the slowdown that we've had in China. So this number here is perhaps a little bit more important tomorrow. That's 11:30. Okay, and retail sales also is a key one that if we move dramatically too much in either direction, we can get a jumpy move on the Aussie dollar. Okay, so that's the Aussie dollar. We in fact have three federal banks that are making rate decisions. The other one is, where are we? The pound on Thursday. Now, this is a first for for the UK. They're making all these announcements simultaneously. The inflation report, the bank votes, and the official rate is happening simultaneously. And furthermore to that, the governor will be speaking 45 minutes after these numbers, and this is a first. Usually this speech happens 2 weeks later, and this is all in a move. They're trying to be more like the way that the US does it for more transparency. So what can happen when the speech is only 45 minutes later? Whatever these numbers come out to be, they can move the market in one direction, and then this speech can often move it back to exactly where it started, okay? Or it can give it a second kick along and it really takes off furthermore. So you got to be keen, if you got to be careful if you're trading pure numbers. This speech can be quite impacting as well. That happens 45 minutes after the delivery of these numbers here. Now, with the GBP, they've been talking about wanting to increase their rates for a little while as well, but it's still off the back burner. So again, we don't think we're going to see a change, and a zero point 0.5 continuation is what the market is expecting, more or less. All right. So that was that one. Where's the other one? Let me see if I can find it. One moment. I think the other one was the CAD, and I'm just getting confused. When it comes to me, I'll point it out. Okay, the third major piece of data and possibly the most moving for this week is non-farm payrolls, which happens late on Friday at our Australian Eastern Standard Time. The number to look out for over here with new jobs created, if this number is smaller than 200k, all right, if we're smaller than now the expectation is around about 224, but if we're smaller than 200, it could see a reversal in the US dollar, and all the momentum that was built over the last month could be lost. Okay, now so what we're expecting is if we can come in at that 224 or a bigger number than that, well then it's full steam ahead with the US dollar, and it should set the precedent for the rest of the month. Okay, so that's the key to the non-farm pay numbers. If we get a surprise and the number's way under, or it doesn't have to be way under, but if it's under 200, it will definitely turn the market around. Okay, we already saw on I think it was Thursday or Friday. When I look at a chart, I'll confirm that some retail sales, I can't remember exactly what it was, US numbers came in and they surprised the market, and basically we've got about 100 pip swing, and it wasn't even considered a major piece of data, but it still moved the market significantly. It spiked me out of two trades that I had, which was disappointing. We'll talk about that in a moment. But what I'm trying to say is the US at the moment, everything is on track, but this non-farm payroll numbers is huge. It will basically say, yes, we are on track for a September rate increase and power along with the US. Okay, so for this particular week, really, if you trade, I can't look, Aussie US is going to be volatile. Okay, Aussie US, and the other one is probably going to be the GBP US. All right. Surprisingly, for the euro this particular week, there's actually there is a little bit of data, but it's non-major. Okay, so the euro US is going to take a little bit of a back seat this week. These two here are going to be our key currencies. Kiwi as well has got a bit of data here coming out on Wednesday, but I think the most impacting for us this particular week is going to be GBP USD, Aussie USD, and let's not forget also China has got some data already. Data came in today. This number disappointed. It hasn't impacted the Aussie dollar significantly yet, but towards the trade balance towards it, which happens on a weekend, so which is unfortunately they like to deliver a lot of their data over the weekend, is quite impacting. Okay, so these are the ones to look out for. Please make notes of this time. They're in Australian Eastern Standard, otherwise Sydney time, and make sure that you're aware of these announcements, especially if you're just about to enter a trade or you're doing any short-term trades. Okay, all right, let's get our charts up. Let's have a look at what's been happening, and let us get started. All right, we'll start off with the Aussie dollar. Now, Aussie dollar promised to break down here. We promised, and then it shot straight back up, and now we're right in the middle again. If you're still in any of these positions over there, I don't know if you got stopped out on that little spike there back at break even, or if you're holding. But what I have noticed on the Aussie dollar, if I go into a 4-hour chart, is I'm starting to experience something that I really, really don't like when I'm starting to trade. And if anybody sees it, you can see that my trading range is getting bigger and bigger. Okay, so what I actually prefer, or what I need to see, is I need to see that the other way around. I need to see the trading range getting smaller and smaller in this direction, but this is actually happening in the opposite direction. So if you're not holding any particular trades right now on the Aussie dollar, possibly you just need to wait until this settles down a little bit more. And this particular, I'm on a 4-hour chart again, just as a reminder, this particular spike here was caused by that US data that I'm talking about, It was quite large on different currencies. On this one, it was about 120 pips. Okay, so Aussie dollar right now, we're non-farm. If it comes, if everything goes accordingly, we can really shoot down. Now we flirt in with that 72.50. We have not broken it yet. I still think that we will, but we're starting to get a bit of consolidation happening in this throughout this little zone here, and it's just that trading range is getting a little bit large. So I don't see a clear signal in this. There's no way I want to buy it. All right. I still feel like I want to sell it, but I want to find a good selling entry before I jump in again. All right. Does anybody in the room right now have an open position on Aussie dollar? No. Okay, so some of you got stopped out. I got stopped out of this one as well because I hit my 1-to-1 and the second half of the trade got stopped out. So let me just clarify that for anybody that's in the room that's just come in, got stopped out for break even, okay, because the entry was there, hit the first target over here, that's T1, and right there got stopped out for at T2 for zero gain. Okay, I was really annoyed at that because that happened to me on two other trades as well. All right. Okay, so if none of us have got a position on the Aussie dollar, we need to wait for a clearer signal. If non-farm disappoints and we get a bit of a fight back, I think we're going to get more entries at around about the 75 level. If, like for example, if non-farm numbers disappoint and we gain strength against the US dollar, we could get a good entry around about there to hit it again. Okay, and that's not going to be a bad thing. So this is a great thing about trading. We're not trying to predict what's going to happen next, and that's important. All right, so I don't care if it goes up or goes down. What I'm trying to look for is my next entry signal. Right now, I've got no entry signals, so what I either want is I would prefer a good pullback to give me this entry, or I prefer a good break to give me the next leg down. Everybody clear on that? So let's not get hung up and because I can see there's a lot of newer people in these Monday classes in recent times. The aim here is not to predict what's going to happen next. We're not fortune tellers, and sometimes we get it right, great, and if we don't, great anyway. What we are trying to do is find entry opportunities. Okay, Aussie dollar right now not showing any. So let's move on. Okay, so let's have a look at Euro USD. Okay, Euro USD. Who picked up this trade over here? I'm hoping I get a few yeses here. I'm hoping at least 20% of you did. Okay, what have I got? I'll call you out. Hamid did, Rav did. Who else? Stephen did. Anybody else? Let me ask the question a different way. Who saw it but didn't take it? Linda did as well. Okay. This is a classic. This is the trade that we were looking for last Monday, and I said look out for it. What we're looking for is a pullback and an entry signal. So okay, so for anybody new, what we got, we considered that we were in a downtrend. We bounced back. We got the candle with a fractal, which created an inside candle with this one there. So when we broke that level right there, that was our entry point. Okay, now we actually, if I measure it out, so the entry, this is Euro USD, entry was about roughly there, got forward about 126 pips, the stop was about 106, which means we hit our 1-to-1 target. So basically this trade looked like this over there, T1, the stop was there, and then when we hit T1, depending what you do, all right, if you moved T2, stop there, we got stopped out. That's what happened to me. I took my T1, I moved my stop, and I got stopped out on my T2. So I got half of the profit on the trade. So Ray got that as well. Okay. Does everybody understand what I just did there? That happened, I think this is Friday, Thursday, on Wednesday. We triggered into that trade on Wednesday. Okay, Paul got that as well. Well done. All right. Okay. So that happened, and then we got the awful spike. There it is that I spoke about, and jumped us out of the trade, and it's put us down. So what I'm looking for, I'm still looking for selling opportunities. This trade, what would have been good when we were up to here, I really thought we were going to clear this, and then that's it. We were heading towards 105 or something, and you land a trade that you pick up a good 300-400 pips out of. But it turned around. So right now with this particular one, let me just have a quick look at a 4-hour chart. Let me zoom out a little bit. Just want to see. Okay. Someone's asking, will the markets test that spike again? No, look, I think that spike was just purely created by people reacting to news. So this level here is a much truer level than that one there. Okay, so but will it test it? I'm not sure. It did get to that level there, so I think this caused the turnaround over there. All right, now I'm just having a quick look. There's a couple of things that I can see. Just bear with me. I'm tempted. I'm really liking this line here. I didn't see this before I started the class, but I just saw it now. I'm in a 4-hour chart right now. Okay, so if I'm looking for a smaller trade, okay, I wouldn't mind. I'm interested in trading here. This is my hotspot right there. And I'm interested in the clean break, or I'm interested in a little bounce back. There's enough room there for me to take a trade. Let me just measure out. It's about 109, 110 pips. So there's enough room for me to take a trade in there. Who likes this particular converging triangle? Romy, is that the wedge that you were referring to that I've just drawn out kind of thing? Okay, it's pretty unanimous. Everybody is in accordance. Okay, so if we all like it, let's see if we can pick up a trade. The the trade that I'm looking for, let me just zoom out 1 second. I just want to see. Okay, yeah, no, it's all good. I really like that one. So what we're going to try and pick out is we're going to try and see if we can pick up a trade off this hot spot. The hot spot's going to be around about that 109, 109.50-ish, all right? And I don't have a preference. Actually, if I'm going to have a preference, and I'm only saying this because of you guys, not for me, for you, I would prefer to bounce up because it would be an inside candle type trade. The breakdown is that psychological difficult trade to do, which we need. So let me just draw it out properly. Okay, so two types of trades we're going to look for. One is we might get a candle that looks something like this, right? It might have a bit of a wick and there, and then we get another little candle inside it right there. As we break, we're going to hit the trade in that direction, and your stop just goes below there. Now remember, we don't have to be so, for the lack of a better word, stingy with our stop, because we're sizing our trade according to the dollar risk that you want to trade. So give yourself a bit of room, maybe 5 pips or 6 or something like that. Okay, so that's that's the trade that I would like to happen, because I know that this one's easier for all of us to trade. The more difficult one is we might get something like this, and then we get clean break like that. Now, the key here is this level here might throw us off. If you get the clean break that goes right there, that's even better, but that one's even harder to trade, because you're going to say, oh my God, it's already gone so much. I don't want to take my trade there. So let's hope that we get the bounce up, because that one's psychologically easier to trade. But both trades are valid. All right? That's what I'm looking for. If I don't get none of those combinations, well then I just watch from the sidelines. We all in agreement? Yep. Great. All right, so that's Euro USD. Let me have a quick look on my daily chart. There was something else that I was trying to look for. On my daily chart, what I would like to look for again, if I get it, is that kind of combination to hit down, which is inside candles. I don't think I'm going to get it. I don't think I can get the fractal there. This is too much wick, so if I get it with this candle included, I'm going to ignore it. So let's just say that off our 4-hour chart, we bounce up here, all right, and then over here we get the other combination. That's like ideal, because we pick up one trade that way, and then we pick up another trade back down. Okay, now that's kind of like asking Santa Claus for two presents, so let's not get greedy. But if we get it, don't chicken out, trade it. Especially if you're taking the first trade, because the first trade pays for the risk of the second trade, and you still have leftover change. All right, so that's what we're looking for, Euro USD. Okay, let's move on. Let's have a look at the cable. All right, I had this wedge drawn on my charts from last week, and we didn't really come out of it. See, these little breaks here, they're not tradable, all right? They're little spikes. We all understand that. When we got to that point there, I was waiting for the candle to close like that. If it closed like that, then straight away, yes, I would have jumped on it, but it closed back as a doji, right? So we haven't had a clean break out of that. So, and now we're kind of on the side here. So this wedge, we just delete it out. All right, let's get rid of it. We're still playing with the channel though. The channel here, we got 4 good touches. Let's see if we can get something out of that. I'm still keen, if I get an inside candle combination through there, I'm still keen to have a go at it. Have a go at that trade. I haven't had the opportunity to take one yet. All right, so let's still look for it. Oh, we got stopped out of a trade here, didn't we, guys? Yes, I just remembered. Can someone confirm? Did we get stopped out of a trade? Yes, Rav did. Yes, anybody else? Did anybody else take it? Okay, last week we took this. We took this trade, and we were over here somewhere. The market was about there. Or was it over here? No, sorry. I think it was over. We were over here. Anyway, we were somewhere there, and we put in a pending limit, something like that. We got triggered into the trade, and we've just been stopped out up there. Okay. All right. So we got stopped out of that trade. It's unlucky. It was tight. We were trying to trade back down, but it's just reversed on us. So to be honest, let me have a quick look at a 4-hour chart before we make a decision on this. Give me 1 second. There's a lot of activity right there. What level is that? 56, 50, 70. Why is that? Why are we having so much trouble getting through that level? I'll tell you one thing, with all the data coming out this week, we'll be blasting through levels. All right, you can play it 2 ways here, guys. There's 2 ways we can play it. We're still going to trade the channel, all right? You could either trade a breakout of that spot, of that area. So if I go into my 4-hour chart, so what I'm saying is if we get a candle that leaves us like that, basically hop on and continue the ride. And what you can, if you want to size up your risk, what we could possibly use a fractal on a 4-hour chart. So if it looked exactly like that, let's place our stop just there. All right. So what we're trying to do, but we need the break to be clean. Okay. We need it to be clean. Also, if you get the inside candle set up, then take the trade forward. All right. Are we clear on that one? I just didn't notice that we've got all this resistance up there. So I get the feeling if we go through it cleanly, we can then get through to the other side of the channel, which is ultimately what we would be looking for. Okay, and depending where it ends, your risk would be around about 170. There's a lot of space for you to be able to reach the other side. Okay. If you're a little bit uncomfortable with that, then with any trade, as always, just sit it out. You don't need to participate. But what I would suggest at the very least, even if you do sit out a trade, please watch it, because we're trying to gain that experience into your memory. All right. So that's, let me see anything else on this one that I like. No, that's it. Okay. So pound USD, we're looking for a break through that 156 kind of 70-ish area. We want to clean it, go straight through it, and then we're buyers. All right. Okay, let's have a look at gold. All right, well, gold is doing exactly what I said it was going to do, which doesn't really mean much, but it's consolidating. All right, so I'm still looking. There's the little mark that I left on my chart. I'm still looking for a breakdown. I don't want to trade it that way. So this is a daily chart now, and this is starting to look like a really nice flag on a daily chart. What does that mean? If I can see this flag on a daily chart, now it's not a 5-minute, it's a daily chart. What does that mean? Anybody? Thank you, Linda. Thanks, Murphin. It means lots of other people can see it too. And do they know how to trade flags? Yes, they do. So that means when we trickle through there, this can move very, very, very quickly. All right. So this pattern is setting up. The only thing is you just got to keep an eye on it, on when it. So the way that you can do this is you can put an alarm. Just draw an alarm. I would draw it around about there, just so that it notifies you. As soon as the price hits there, the alarm goes off, and then you can start to monitor it closely and see if you want to take this particular trade. Okay, so that's what I would do. So I'm still watching this one. My mark on the chart is still there. If it breaks upwards, well then, who cares? We move. We don't do anything, and the pattern just doesn't play out. So there's no problems. All right. So with gold, just give yourself an alarm at around about, I would say, the 1180 level. All right, 1180, and then you can watch it. Okay, question being asked: if the euro weakens, will the GBP go up or not? Not necessarily. Um, well, the, the euro and the GBP, they're totally independent. Okay, so if you're referring to the euro pound pair, then the answer will be that that pair will go down. All right, but they're not particularly too correlated. All right, so they're totally a little bit separate from each other. All right. Okay, let's have a look at US yen. All right, this is the other trade that I triggered, and I'm still in this one. Who picked this one up? Can everybody see the trade? I'll give you a clue. Look in that area there. Okay, Rav's on it. Anybody else? I'm still in this one. So I'll point it out. Last week we said with this particular setup, what we're looking for is we're looking for a pullback and we're looking for the combination. There we go. There's the fractal. This is the candle with a fractal. And you've got a nice inside candle, which basically means at the break right there, you take the trade in that direction. There's your stop somewhere there. And then T1, I haven't hit T1. I got close. T1 is about there, hasn't hit yet. And T2 is around about there, depending how much you're chasing. If you're chasing 2 to 1 or whatever that distance may be. So this trade, the risk was around about 85-ish. It got as high as 73. And at the moment, it's at around about 25 pips in our direction. All right, so it was going, and then it basically just pulled a U-turn when we got all that negative data. Okay, so with the US yen, because I'm in a trade, obviously I'm holding, and non-farm is either going to make this a stopped out trade, or it's going to give me a really, really sensational trade, depending in which direction it goes. So I actually like it. I'm still happy. I'm still pro US yen, as everybody knows. So it's very nice when you get that little setup. I'll just highlight it. It's a really pretty trade. Very reliable setup, this particular one there. Now, if you're not in, let me see what we can find for you. Let's go into a 4-hour chart. Nothing really there, is there? Okay. All right. If you're not in this trade, what may happen is we may go a bit like that and then come back, and you may get another entry there to hit in that direction. Okay. So you're going to have to wait for the next wave, if you're not in it already. Or we could get stopped out, and then we'll have to analyze to see what happens around about here, if we can find some kind of support back up, or if we're going to continue in the downward direction. All right, so if you're not in this trade, there isn't a setup right now. So right now you kind of just got to sit it out. Okay, I don't think this candle here will turn into a fractal candle and you'll get an inside candle here that gives you an opportunity to go out again. But if you do, I, I don't think this one can be a fractal candle, because this is lower than that one. So you won't get a setup off that. All right. So if you don't have one, you're just going to have to wait for the next one to come along. Question being asked: do you stay in USD trades over non-farm payroll? Okay, great question, Romy. This trade, yes, because I'm trading this particular, all right, trade based off a daily chart. So I'm willing to stay in this trade for say 2 weeks. So I have to ride weekends, I have to ride all kinds of data, and what I usually find is that that data is the one that will either help my trade along really, really well, or um, stop me out. And I'm prepared to get stopped out. I've already calculated the risk and I'm happy with the risk that I've taken. So yes. Okay. Now, if I was going to trade a 15-minute strategy, I'm not going to open my trade, 1 hour before non-farm payrolls. That's a different story. Does that make sense? I heard someone say once that, and it really made an impact on me, and they said, well, the reality is you're always trading news. And they went on to explain it's just a matter of how much before the announcement that you're trading it, because we entered this trade last week, and if I stay in it, it's still going to be impacted by news that happens today, tomorrow, or on Friday. All right, so it's just a matter of how long ago I entered before the news impacted the market. Okay, so when I trade daily strategies, I don't worry about news. Now, the only time that I may be worried about it, Robbie, just to go one step further, is let's say I was in this trade and I had 300 pips already locked in, and I was happy with that amount of profit. I may close the trade out then because I don't want to give it all back. All right. But again, it's purely a way that you manage your psychological self during the trade. All right. All right. So US yen, we got nothing. Euro yen. This was the third trade that I picked up and I got spiked out of, and the trade was over here, right there. We got the double in the inside candle combination downwards, and I actually hit my T1 target. So that triggered the trade there. It got to about 82-ish. My stop was about 75-ish. So I hit my T1. So what that trade looked like was there. T1 was hit. My stop was there. And then I moved my stop there, and T2 got hit for 0. All right. Did anybody else take that one? With inside candles, I particularly like it when the inside candle is a little one because it's a smaller risk in terms of pips, which also means you can hit your T1 a lot quicker. All right. So well done, Rav, on that one. So that was, they triggered at the same time. I think the Euro USD, the US yen, and the Euro yen, the setups all happened on the same day, and they triggered within about 2 hours of each other. So okay, so and the Euro US and the Euro yen both hit T1. US yen didn't hit T1, but we're still in that. We haven't been stopped out. All right, so what have we got right now then? Let's have a quick look. Which direction would we be looking for a trade here, guys? If you're looking at that chart, what do we look? What do you think? Let me get rid of this channel now because obviously it's not applicable to us anymore. Does anybody have a bias? What do we think? Let's just have I'll throw it out to everybody in the room and I'll give you back the answer. So what do we got? We got slightly more sellers. Some people are saying they don't know. Okay, well, based off the mood of the market, what do you think? Just based off the mood and the fundamentals or something. Greece and all that. Okay. Well, so I'm getting mixed answers. I'm pretty much getting 50-50. I still feel like I want to sell it more than I want to buy it. All right, I still feel that. I don't have a reason to do that right now. So I'm looking. Let's see if we can find the reason. How does that look? We've got two touches on both sides. How does that look, guys? Do we like it? Okay. All right, so let's just do a little bit of revision. So if we were to trade this, what's the most typical, which direction is the favored way here? Do you remember? Up or down? Which is the favored direction? Okay, everybody's saying down. It's actually up though, because this is one of those triangles that pushes down, pushes to a limit, pushes down, pushes to a limit, but it's lower, down and lower, and then eventually it gets back to that level there, and that's your distance target there equals that distance. That's typically how you trade this particular when one side is flat. When one side is flat, you trade it back up. Okay, so that's what it's looking like, but we're not at the pointy end yet, so I would be keen to see if I can sneak a little cheeky trade in there. Let me zoom in and let's see if I can find one. Maybe off a 4-hour chart. Let's have a look. No. Okay. What I wouldn't mind, I'm not going to use this candle. All right. So this candle, oh, I want to use it though. All right. Okay, I'm just going to take a punt on this one. It's probability. If this candle turns out to be, it's got the fractal there, and I get the inside candles there, then I'm happy to go that way. All right. But I don't think this one can have the fractal because of that one there. I can't remember. I need to see this. I need to see this setup tomorrow. If the setup is good, I promise that I'll send it to you. If it's not, then you won't hear from me on it. Okay. What I would like to do is I would like to see if I can get this trade down. All right. So I will look at this setup when I get the next candle, which is tomorrow, and then if it is, I'll send it through. Okay. Question been asked. Stephen saying, but we've come from the top. No, it's slightly different. Okay, give me 1 second. This particular setup is slightly different. What the one that you're referring to, Stephen, looks like this. Comes from down and then it goes into a converging where it's at an angle like that and then it continues in that direction. Okay, that's the one that you're referring to. This one, in any case, it's actually coming from the bottom, this one as well. But this one, it's doing this, and it's coming to the same level, So it's coming to a straight line, and then it's doing this downwards, and then usually the push is back to that, at least to that height. Okay. Another question. Um, is this completed here yet? I'm trying to find out, so I'm waiting for a setup, so I can only tell tomorrow. All right, so that's why I say there's no trade right now. Another question. Stochastics may suggest downwards. Yeah, I don't really pay too much attention to the stochastics on its own, Roy. Not to, I mean, it can go downwards. So, and I actually do like the downward as well because I'm on the border. I'm on the line. So I'm actually not expecting this to break through just yet because if it breaks through right now, then my pattern hasn't really formed as well as I would like it to. So what I'm expecting this to get a setup so I can go back down to here and then on the next leg, now I'm starting to look for the breakup. Okay? All right. So with the euro yen, we're pretty much we're just gonna have to sit this one out. We're just gonna wait. So I'll be able to see tomorrow if I've got a setup to go back down and test this bottom line. All right. Okay, let's move on. Kiwi dollar. Oh, look at that. We didn't get a setup over there. So I was really hoping that we would get one. We said let's wait for a pullback and then we're going to try and hit it down, but we didn't get the setup that we were looking for, so we weren't able to take advantage out of that one. Let's see what we can see right now. I'm going into a 4-hour chart. Kiwi's got a bit of data this week as well, plus all the US stuff. So this one's going to be quite a mover as well. All right, I don't really see anything on this one. The only thing that may happen with the Kiwi is we may get a bit of consolidation in this region before we get a move either downwards or back up. Okay, now if we get consolidation over here, I'm happy to trade both ways because this would not be considered a flag. All right, that's not a flag. That's just a movement downwards, which is then consolidating. So I think we're going to consolidate here a little bit. And if we do consolidate, this is the type of chart that you can step down maybe to a 1 hour time frame and use ranging type strategies on. Okay, so if this happens to start to lock into that region, what we do is we drop down a couple of time zones and then change strategies and use one of those like a candle flip, for example, and you'll see that it can work quite effectively under those circumstances. All right, so but right now on the Kiwi, there's nothing showing, so we're just going to have to sit the Kiwi out and let's see what happens. Let's have a look at the Euro Aussie. Okay, remember last week we drew on the Euro Aussie. I said I'm looking for a trade off there. There's my line still on the chart. And we got right there, we didn't get a classic price action trade. We did anybody take this trade? If you took it, you know the strategy that you've taken it. There's one person that I may have taken it, but I'm not sure if they're in the room right now. Bijan, are you in the room right now? Let me show you something and then you'll know what this is easily in 2 seconds flat. Give me 1 second. I've just changed profile to my fishing strip strategy. Look at that setup right there. Oh, Rav took it. Okay, well done. Anybody else? It was a fishing strip off a daily chart. Okay, so you haven't been stopped out and you haven't hit your targets yet. But what was nice about it, it was a fishing strip that set up on that channel right on the roof. Even though we didn't get a price action entry, we got a railroad which is a good reversal sign. Okay, it's not a trade that we normally take on the Monday, but I was just curious to see if somebody took it. I didn't take it, but I was just, like I said, just keen to see if anybody took it. All right, let me fix my chart up. So what have I got now on this particular? Let me draw my channel again. The Euro Aussie's been doing some huge movements. If you have a look at this movement from here to there, it's like 600 pips there, and from that peak down to the bottom here is 290. It's been doing some very, very, very big movements. Right now, I can't really see much, and I'm right in the middle of the channel now. I'm right in the middle, so I got nothing. I got nothing on this one. I can't possibly take a trade. I'm too much in the middle. So, oh, hang on. I think I just saw something. Give me 1 second. No, I thought there was an ABCD there, but it's not. No, no. There's nothing there on the Euro Aussie. Okay. Any questions, anybody? I think I've covered everything. I'll go back and recap. I'll give you an opportunity to type in your questions. Okay, Aussie dollar, we started with, we're in consolidation and our trading zone is getting wider, so we need to wait until that settles down. Okay, I believe we've been stopped out of any trades that we had. So we're waiting for the next entry. Euro USD, we found ourselves a really nice 4 hour wedge and we're approaching the hot spot, and what we would like to see is that one, but we're happy to go this direction as well. So keep an eye on that one. The hot spot's going to happen around about the 109.40 level. GBP USD, we've hit this resistance wall at 156.70-ish, and what we're looking for is a clean break so that we can continue our journey to the other side of the channel. We just got to wait for that one to happen. Gold is a nice flag forming. We've got our alarms at that 1080 level to see if we can jump onto this one south. US yen, we're in a trade, so if you're not in a trade, you just got to sit this one out until we get another entry signal. Euro yen, we found the little, it's actually not that little, it's on a daily. We found a converging triangle with flat side down, and we wait till tomorrow, we might get an entry back down it before we test the top limit again. Kiwi dollar, it looks like we're about to consolidate, so we're waiting. And Euro Aussie, we're in the center of the channel, nothing showing. We'll have to sit this one out. Okay, so there's possibly, I think, look out, the Euro USD is going to be a trade. The GBP USD looks like it, and I think gold might be the other one that will trigger for us this week. So in summary, from last week, we got stopped out on GBP USD. We hit two T1s, Euro USD and Euro Yen, and we're still in a US Yen up around about 25 pips. So all in all, pretty solid week. Let's see if some of these that we've got an eye on this week play out for us as well. Okay, any final questions before we call it a day? No, we're all good. Okay, as usual, if you have any questions, just email me. Just you can get me on the email that you received this invitation. So just hit respond, ask me your questions. If you're asking me about a chart, please send me a screenshot. It makes it so much easier for me. Otherwise, I'll reply back asking for a screenshot. Okay, have a great week. We'll carry on Thursday. We're working on trend at the moment, so I'll show you another method to identify trades based on trends. If you're looking at the wave tracker and there's any setups that you're having troubles with, send them through and I'll make some comments on them for you. Other than that, have a great week. I'll speak to you all on Thursday at 3:30 usual time. Bye for now.